All right, welcome, people. Welcome. Second live stream in my second week here. Just want to come on to YouTube and test things out again and just have a go at drawing some figures out of my imagination. Um, Not really giving any announcements on when I'm doing these. It's usually on Monday or Tuesday. And yeah, just kind of doing it off the cuff. All right, so I'm not sure how many people we have watching here, but I'm just going to get started because we've got the recorded version. It's absolutely freezing here in New York. I think it's like 25 or 27 degrees. Now, okay, so what am I going to be drawing with here today? Well, I'm going to be using my Derwent Drawing Ivory Black 6700. Now, these pencils come in different colors. So I think for me personally, ivory black, ivory black, ivory black. I have other colors here, but they come in other colors, multiple colors. This one's sepia red. And why do I like to draw with these on newsprint? Because they're just like a black crayon, and they're really, really super soft and fun to draw with. Okay, so I'm just going to use this Chinso sharpener here that I don't even know where I got this thing from, but it works really well. This is ivory black too. It comes in chocolate, like a blue, all different colors. Okie dokie. So now let's see. Let me just feel my touch here. Just drawing some ovals. I highly recommend that you, let's see, how are we doing here? Am I on the video camera? Yep. I highly recommend that before you start drawing anything, you just kind of do some circles like this. Okie dokie. So how big is my sheet of paper? A lot of students, when I do my Zoom class, really like to know how big I'm drawing. So this is not that big. It's roughly, yeah, God, 11 inches. Now, let's see here. I want to just try, just bear with me here for a second. I want to go to YouTube and yeah, I should have done this earlier. Yeah, let's go here. Cool. And my there we go. We got 9 people watching. Very cool. Okay. Hey, Sandy. Nice to see you. Let me lower the volume on my machine here so we don't get any feedback. Yeah, it's cold here as well. Organic Paul. I'm glad to finally make a live. I really appreciate your channel from Nooch to Nooch. That's a cool name. All right, cool. Okay, let's just get started here. Now, okay, I said we were about 11. Oh, I see there's a delay. There we go. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, I'm going to get this. We're going to draw in like 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I'm sorry that you're seeing the side of my face here. I just need to see my camera. Oh, I get you. I get you. Here we go. Sweet. Okay. So I'm going to just put like a little mark over here to show me where the top of my paper was, and a little mark over here to show me where the bottom of my paper is. So I'm just going to draw. So I have no idea what I'm going to draw. But, you know, the idea is that this is the top of your paper. This is the bottom of your paper. What you really want to do is think about shoulder tops. Right. And do I have enough room for the feet? Do I have enough room for the head? Well, if I have my torso go to about here, the bottom of the butt, sure, I should have enough room for the feet. So let's just get started. So let's say shoulder tops. And so the easiest way that I really like to draw the figure from my imagination is I always like to start with this shape right here. Over and over and over again. I always start with this shape when I'm drawing out of my imagination. Now at this, whoops, I'm sorry about that. At this point in the game, I could turn this into a back view, or I can turn it into a front view. It lends itself a little bit better to a back view, but I'm going to do a front view. So what I'll do from here is I'll just establish like pelvis, wrap around pelvis. I'll establish the navel. Okay, and maybe that's pubic bone right above your privates. Perhaps I'll do like a little V shape over here. And then what I also like to do is I like to draw the bottom of the rib cage. Now, I'm drawing this where you can see everything that I'm doing. I wouldn't necessarily draw all these marks when I'm drawing from life. I would do less. So now maybe I'd come on in and draw center of the breast. Perhaps I would do like a little bit of the chest muscle and a little bit of a collarbone. So then I'll come back and I'll reestablish my edge and roll in with a convex, roll in with a convex. So then I've got my hip. Now, okay, so for me personally, let's just kind of have some teaching here with a little bit of isolation. I think for me, this is a really easy way to start. Why is it easy? Why do I say that? Well, it's controllable. So you're just, if this is a simple standing pose, front view, back view, it's controllable, and you just start with the torso. So what did we incorporate in the torso? Well, we've got the bottom of the rib cage. We have the center line with the navel. We have the bottom of our pelvis, which is the pubic bone. We have the front of our pelvis, our asis, which is basically the front of your iliac crest. And then I've wrapped around, and we've got a collarbone. If I want to be centered, I'll draw 2 collarbones. So this is a very, very simple way to get started with drawing people out of your imagination. Now, the next step, and I don't think I'm going to have enough room for the feet, so the easy way for me to handle this is just kind of zoom out a little bit. Yep, just like that. Okay, that should be enough. So what is helpful is to think about a pose. And so I'm an edge freak. I love drawing on the edge of the body. And some teachers will tell you, no, that's no good. You're not supposed to draw on the edge of the body. Listen, I'm here to tell you that every teacher is going to have their opinion, but the only opinion that matters is yours, and you have to do what you like to do. So yeah, I draw on the inside, absolutely, but I also love to draw on the edge. So I could have come on down with a simple gesture line, but yeah, I felt like doing a little bit more of a blind contour sort of thing. And then for the foot, I like to do these scribbly wraparound lines for now. So then with this leg, I don't even know how do I want this leg. So perhaps it's going to be a letter C shape, an opposite letter C shape, a letter C shape into the bottom of the foot. And maybe I've got that leg kind of going that a ways, and then I'd come back up immediately to the top of the head and do my C shape. Now, I'm doing a lot of talking. I'm not flowy right now, so it's a little frumpy. But what I'll do next is I'll resharpen my pencil, okay, and go from there. So now it would be nice if we did like a little bit of an arm. So it could just be so when I say C shape, I'm talking about the letter C, and then the opposite letter C, and then the letter C, and then the opposite letter C. They don't have to be a predetermined height. It's the flow of the body, right? So, this would be the deltoid. Perhaps this could be the bicep, and I'd come on down, thumb, pointer finger. Okay, cool. So this is a very generic standing pose, nothing too crazy about it, and nothing too fancy. And so then if I wanted to, I can just represent the head like that. So you have some sort of a context as to what I'm doing. I don't know, Sandy, if you're still with us, but if you could let me know how the sound is, that'd be pretty cool. Okay. So now let's say I wanted to push it a little bit more. So maybe this is like my 2-minute, 3-minute gesture pose out of my imagination. And so now if I wanted to push it, I could say, okay, let's come back up to the chest. And so I've got another rib, and I'm going to roll in. So I'm just going to fuss over here maybe going back to privates, and I'll maybe do the other side of the chest and bring this rib cage in just a wee bit there. Cool. Okay. So, yes, and maybe I feel like drawing with a little bit of tone today. So perhaps I want the light to be coming from the left side, and I'll say to myself, okay, left side to the center of the breast, shadow under the breast, around a rib, around a rib, around a rib. And then maybe what I want to do is I just kind of want to shade over there. So immediately now I've got like a, awesome. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Tanuj. Awesome. So, thank you, thank you. So then, what I'll do is at least I have like a little bit of a shape. I love drawing with shapes, and then I might continue this shape down to the oblique, and I'll come on down to the privates. And if I wanted to, I could bring this right down to that leg. Now, the problem for some teachers and for some artists is that when you do that shape, it tends to be like a flattener. Like it really gets flat, right? But, there's layers to the onion. You can go back on top of that and make it a little bit curvier if you wanted to, just simply by adding some form lines. So let me go a little bit faster. So I want to make this leg a little thinner. And don't worry about these mistake lines. It's just a quick sketch. So I'm not a big fan of outlining both sides, but I'm just going to do the knee area. And knee area, perhaps kneecap, and then I can kick this out, kick that down, ankle. Okay, bump under the kneecap, tibial tuberosity. And now if I have any mistake lines, easy. I'm just going to turn it into tone. All right, cool. So now with this particular leg, let me resharpen my pencil. For some reason today, this is a pretty damn soft pencil. And it's really getting worn down quickly. And I don't even think I'm pressing down hard. Now, this leg feels a little short to me. Now, listen, we're just drawing out of our imagination, so I could make it a little bit longer. Feet tend to be longer than people think they are, so perhaps I'm just going to lengthen that foot, and I can just put like a little tone down over here. Now, let's come over here. I'm just going to do a continuous line, tibial tuberosity inside of the knee once again. You have a long, strappy muscle that comes from your pelvis that hooks around and goes right to the bump on your tibia, and kneecap would be right there. So now I can say, let's ignore that line. I don't like that. I'm just going to do the inside of the tibia, outside of the ankle, and then arch of the foot, wrap around. Would have been nice if I loosened up a little bit before I started to draw, and then I'll just do that calf muscle like that. Now, listen, again, we're just kind of sketching, and I'm a big believer of not outlining everything. So if I wanted to, this is so far away from, this is like so far away from my head, but I'm just going to go. So ear, wrap around bottom of the ear, wrap around lips, and then perhaps hair. So I'm just kind of mucking around, hair on the shoulders, and that's my first quick sketch. Okay, notice we don't even have the other arm because I'm kind of messing around. Okay, so let's very quickly, right next to this, let me move this sheet of paper. I need to move my chair closer to this drawing board here. And bear with me, people. I'm just moving this piece of paper over. And yeah, let's put it like right there. Okay, good. Now, give me a second to kind of tape it down. Got another piece of tape here. And I'm going to draw one right on the side of that. And okie dokie. So we started with the torso peanut shape. I'm going to switch. I'll just keep this pencil. It's all good. Okay. Cool. So we've got organic Paul. We've got Akant. Awesome. Yeah, I love Vilpoo. Greetings from Iran, my artist who drew Winx Club. Hey, I'm an artist who drew Winx Club. Nice. Well, not that good. Hey, there you go. Positivity. Love it. Okay. Okay, so let's just do another quick sketch. Okay. So how do I like to start drawing out of my imagination? I love to just draw this torso peanut shape. Okay, so this is more a profile view. And then immediately I love to get, is that on the camera? Yes, it is. I like to get the pelvis and just suggest, and I'm just going to do the letter C. Well, that's off of the camera now, so this is the letter C. And then I'll do the back of the lower leg, which is the opposite letter C. And then I'll go down to the top of the foot. Okie dokie. And so then I'm just going to go to the face, and perhaps I want to get the back of the skull in. So I'm just going to, I want to just press down a little bit harder. So that is my formula, okay, for drawing a character out of your imagination, a figure out of your imagination. It's basically you start with the torso, and then you do this front of the upper leg originating from the pelvis. And then you do the back of the lower leg, which is just the opposite rhythm because the front of the leg is where all the muscle is. The back of the lower leg is where all of the muscle is, okay? And then bottom of the foot. So the bottom of the foot is really important to kind of establish that. And then I just do front of the face, maybe back of the skull, so 2 ovals for the head. And then I'll determine how do I want this. So perhaps I want the upper arm this way, lower arm that way. But let's just kind of go back to the torso once again, okay? So, Melanie Snow. There you go. That's Melanie Snow 12. Nice. That's a cool name. So now I'd say, okay, let's go a little slower. And I'm going to do breast. And I'm going to do rib cage, abs near the navel. So I've got a little bit more complication. I'll come in over here and maybe roll in a little bit to the top of the pelvis. I'll come on down with the butt, and I'm not going to necessarily outline both sides. So I'll go with a slower, more continuous line on this leg, kneecap and tibia, and then back of the lower leg. And the back of the lower leg tends to go right down to the Achilles tendon. Make sure that you kick the heel out with an angle like that, okay? So then if I wanted to, I'll add the foreground breast, okay? Background breast, and rib, and shoulder, more of a scapula situation right over there. And then this is going to roll right into your neck to the back of your skull. So again, just a quick way to think about drawing the figure out of your imagination and in a loose, fast manner. Okay, so now if I wanted to add that other leg, I can just, if I felt better with a little bit of tone, I can do like a little bit of tone. Some people love to draw with tone, and maybe that's just going to be that heel and ball of the foot up into that leg. And so that could be a very, very, very quick way for you to do a front view and to do a profile. Now, let me show you how quick and easy it is with starting the same way to draw a back view. And then after I do this, I'll focus on like one pose, and I'll try to do one that's a little bit more realistic. Right now, I'm just drawing a little bit loose and sketchy, so I can just give you the basics here, right? So now a back view, let's see. So just take the point off of this. A back view, same thing. So I'm starting out, is that on the video? Yep. Let's see, let me move this a little bit over. Starting right here, and back view, and torso, and the hip, and the butt, and the center line. So this would be the spine. So do you see how quick and easy it is to draw that way? It's super quick and easy. So and it's if you're drawing on an 18 by 24 drawing pad, you can do all of your stand-in figures going all the way across the pad, and then you're gonna. It's almost like very formulaic, the way that you're drawing. Now, for some reason, I'm drawing this one a little bit lower, so the head's going to be a little bit lower. So then you just say, okay, tilt of the hips. So this would be your sacrum. Okay. And so the hips are tilting this way, the shoulders are going to tilt that way. And then I can say, all right, this is going to be my straight leg. Is that on the screen? Yes. So that's going to be my straight leg. That would be my line of action, and it goes all the way down to that foot. So this is actually even more primitive than the previous two, but it's getting a little bit looser, but yet more descriptive at the same time. And that's the goal, right? And I'm not pressing down so hard on the pencil. I mean, I kind of have to press down hard so you can see. Now, let me just see something here on my, okay, cool. Awesome. Hey, Samuel. How are you, Samuel? Thanks for joining us. So just doing some rough sketches here and nothing crazy. Just trying to give you my little formula for how I like to start to draw people out of my imagination. So it's really this torso shape, and then it's some anatomical landmarks within the torso. If you want to do angle of shoulders, angle of hips, that would be cool. And then what I do is I like to go all the way down to 1 foot, and then maybe this leg would be same sort of thing. I'm just going to kind of dance down, and maybe I want that foot going that direction. So also what's very helpful with the feet is that you get the perspective of the feet. So it's like back of the heel and side of the foot. So that's kind of a perspective box right there. And that is a really good way to plant feet on the floor. So now let me resharpen this pencil. Awesome, Samuel. Good to hear that. This is Sai. I'm probably butchering your name, Seye from Barbados. Yeah, I appreciate that. You probably have some really gorgeous weather down over there. Now, okay, so let's push this one a little bit more. So I'm going to say I like to draw the neck originating right here. So this is called your cervical vertebrae, and right over here, this is your 7th cervical vertebrae. So I like to start that neck at the base of the skull, just like that, and that would be the face. So yes, and then we come on down, thoracic vertebrae, there's 12 of them, and then lumbar vertebrae, there's 5 of them, and then you're getting a triangular sacrum at the base of your spine. So we've got a little bit of anatomy. Now your rib cage over here is going to be the maybe floating rib. That's just bottom of the rib cage. We don't want to go too crazy with that, but we're just suggesting maybe this would be your scapula, and your scapula is going to kind of come up. I'm just hinting at some little doodads of anatomical landmarks. We're not going full-blown anatomy. And then our hip, this would be your greater trochanter, your hip bone that kind of sticks out. And then we have quad, and then we have calf muscle. Okay, so this leg's a little long. The other one's a little short. So this is a preference thing, but let's keep going. So now I could always raise the foot. It doesn't matter. It's just a messed up kind of memory drawn type thing. So I've got my opposite letter C, my letter C. Notice how I flow them into one another, and we've got perhaps bottom of the butt. Since the hips are tilted, that would be our little dimple for the sacrum. Maybe this side of the glutes would be lower, and this is lower. Good. And if I wanted to, sometimes I feel more comfortable when I draw one leg in tone. I kind of like that. And then I'll do a little contour to the heel, and we said perspective with the feet, right? So I'm doing my perspective. That foot's kind of pointing that a ways. And then you don't need to outline both sides of the leg. You could, but you really don't have to. And it's better in a life drawing class not to, especially the short poses. Okay. Hey, Manuel, good to see you. And so now I'm going to do a little trapezius coming from the cervical vertebrae. This is all trapezius. And trapezius. And now look, I like to think about my deltoid as like an upside down ice cream cone, just like that. Again, we're just drawing people out of our imagination, people on YouTube. We're not trying to do some 100 gazillion hour atelier drawing. It's just sketching loosely. And so then I could say letter C, opposite letter C. And now upside down ice cream cone. I like cheesy, like little fun things for teaching my younger students at SVA, so they remember it when I use these kooky names, and I try not to take myself too seriously, because especially when you're teaching a foundation drawing class with 20, 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds, you got to have a little fun. So yeah, if I just am too dry and talking about dry anatomy, you tend to lose the younger students a little bit. Yeah, so now I can come back in, press down a little bit harder, maybe a little bit of shading on the mid-back, just like that. Now, if I want to stick with that, I can do a little shading. If the light's coming from the top, a little shading bottom of the butt. And that's another quick pose. Okay, so let's recap here, people. So I just started all three of these with this torso peanut shape. Oops, Jesus, I just whacked my nose on the microphone. I never have my volume on. That just scared the shit out of me. Oh my God. Okay, doing a live stream, people, doing a live stream. So I just started all of these drawings, love them or hate them. I just started. Let me zoom out so we can squeeze them all on one sheet of paper here on the screen. Yeah, they were all started with the torso peanut shape. And for me personally, listen, there's a gazillion teachers here on YouTube, a gazillion college teachers. They all have their own names for these same old techniques. Some teachers call it the bean shape. Some people call it whatever shape. I like to call it the torso, but my little thing is it kind of looks like a peanut a little bit. And the same torso peanut shape could be used for the front view, the profile, and the back view. Just what you've got to get in are just a couple of some anatomical landmarks. So the anatomical landmarks for me from the front view could be the collarbones, could be the costal margin, which is the bottom of the ribcage, could be the navel, could be the pubic bone. Now, sure, could we come back into this and do a center line? Yeah, we could do that. Would that make it all stiff? Yes. Yeah. Okay, so this is how I really, really like to start. Now, let me switch sheets of paper here, and we'll go to a new pose, okay? Cool. Now, notice this one I like the most. This one, I'm warming up. I just started. I really haven't drawn anything today. Got a landscape class at 2 o'clock on drawingtutorialsonline.com. We have a class every week via Zoom. So we have a 15-week spring semester, and every Tuesday I teach a class there. Okay. So, yeah, cool. Got a sheet of paper under that one. And today we're doing landscapes and, how to think of a landscape in an abstract sort of way. All right, so let me get a little tape here. Tape this down. Cool. And I'm going to resharpen this pencil, but actually I want to switch to one that might be a little bit harder. And I also just want to get like a little drink. Okay, bear with me, people. Yes, hydrogen water. Hydrogen water. Cool. Gotta love the sound effects. Hopefully the sound's good. All right. I like to draw with a longer pencil. These pencils are weird. Bart Noble. I'm doing the spring semester just a bit behind. Oh, cool, Sandy. Nice. Very nice. All right, so top of the paper. Yeah, we're starting landscapes today. I can't wait. I'm going to use this monstrosity today to do the landscape on newsprint, and I'm going to draw bigger, and I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, pose here, trying to think. So the thing with this is that you can pick a pose out of your imagination before you start, and you pre-visualize the pose, or you just draw and you let the pose happen organically. Both are very good. I think it's better to pre-visualize a pose and then draw it. But I'm just going to start randomly here. So I'm going to try to start a little bit lighter. Okay, now maybe this one's going to be kneeling, so I don't have to worry about so much space for the legs. So first things first, I'm going to start with my shoulders, side of the rib cage, and hip. Cool. And other side. And I want to establish pubic bone, which is the bottom of your pelvis, pelvis, wrap around. Navel's going to be a little higher. Okay, cool. And bottom of the rib cage, just a little suggestion. And so I've already messed up, but I'm going to show you it doesn't matter if you mess up. Just kind of keep going. And you can get rid of these mess ups with shading. So top costal margin, bottom of the sternum. I guess that would be first rib. And yeah, rib cage. Now, I'm separating everything. I'm outlining everything because I'm doing this in a way where I am trying my very best to show you how I start. And so I'm trying to show you some of the very simplistic construction lines. Maybe I'll do one. It would have been nice if I started to the left so I had room to draw here, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to build up a little bit of confidence first. So I'm going to do my breast area. Yeah, let me move a little closer. I feel like I'm a gazillion miles away. So lat muscle, rib rolling in, oblique into the pelvis, oblique into the pelvis. I'm adjusting and I'm fixing all of my mistakes. We got a V shape over here. Navel is here. I'm going to leave it there. And now let's, good. And center of the breast, good. And rib. So very similar to what I did first. Okay. Now let's change this. So I'm going to have this leg perhaps come in this way. You want to think, I'm just drawing construction lines, people. Let me zoom in. This is way too far away. Cool. So I think this helped me tremendously when I didn't know how to draw people out of my imagination. So just kind of like drawing that leg and thinking of the knee area like a cylinder. Okay, Pilly? Thank you, Pilly. I appreciate that. Think of the knee area as just a cylinder. Again, you're mucking around, and this person's going to be sitting on their heel. So their heel might push up on their butt. Cool. And nice. Okay, so let's come on down. And I'm just going to do that. Now, I could have this leg go up like this. Let's try that. That means everything's going to change a little bit. So let's go up and let's go down foot. And this foot should be lower. And maybe this, yeah. So I'm just kind of doing this out of my imagination. Like I said, I haven't really done anything figuring out the pose ahead of time. Let's come over here. Let me resharpen because I'm starting to get a really thick line. Cool. And shoulder. Let me be a little messy here. Okay, so that's my pose. And so I'm going to push it. So now I'm going to say breasts feel way too tall. They need to be a little lower. I'm going to do collarbone, and form line, form. This one I'm going to make a mess. Let's just make a mess here. Form line, rib, hip. So this would be your gluteus medius. I'm going to lift up the gluteus max. Cool. And this is your tensor fasciae latae right over there. And let's come into the knee, kneecap right there. And maybe a form line. Okay, so if I wanted to, let's go to sternum. I'm going to really do some construction lines here. So sternum, center line, navel, lay of the land, down to the pubic bone. I don't recommend drawing that type of line on your drawing. It just screws it all up. So this should insert your, deltoid, 1/3 of your collarbone, deltoid opposite letter C, bicep, letter C, forearm down to this hand. And so listen, when you're dealing with this hand, think of it as like a perspective box, just like that. So maybe it's going to go back, and again, maybe this heel and foot perspective box. Okay. And let's see, neck, trapezius, back of the skull, front of the face. Let's just get the ear. Is that on camera? Yeah, that's on camera. This leg feels a little small to me. I mean, it is foreshortened, so I don't want it too big. And yeah, so this might be all a value of tone because that's going to be like underneath. So again, I've started kind of the same way. All right. Now, listen, this is the rhythm that you've got to really draw. Let me resharpen. Organic pull. How do we deal with foreshortening in this method? Okay, let's talk about that. Thank you, Phoenix. I really do appreciate that. I have good days and bad days. I don't know what today is. My arm feels like it's not my arm today. When you get old, weird shit happens. I just had a birthday last week, so I'm getting older and older and older, and it royally sucks. Let's see here. So foreshortened. What can I draw foreshortened? Okay, I'm going to try to draw a reclining pose. Let's do that. So that's enough of this one. So you get an idea before we move on. So loose, suggestive, a little bit more detailed, some anatomical landmarks, perspective, rhythm, unfinished. Again, drawn out of our imagination, very loose. Let me get another sheet of newsprint paper. 1 second. Now, I've got to take this one off of... So I have a Cintiq screen that I draw on digitally, and it's ginormous. It's an older one, but it's ginormous, and I use it as my drawing table. So, yeah, it's great. It's very stable. It's on this thing called an ergo stand, so it doesn't really wobble. It's pretty awesome. Okay, so new sheet of paper. And let's try a reclining pose. That would be foreshortened. Semi. Okie dokie. And more tape, people. More tape. Awesome, awesome. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Almost there. Yeah. I don't today. Like I felt so good last week when I was doing this. Like I was booking. I was going fast. I need to get my ass in gear and go a little faster. I'm gonna lose the whole audience here. Okay, so profile. No, Matt. Foreshortened. So I'm gonna do kind of like the model is reclining on the model and stand, and I'm kind of standing at my easel in a life drawing class situation, and the torso is going to be flat on their back, maybe one leg up. So do I have enough room here? Yeah, so, okay. First mark, shoulders. And let me try my very best to draw the same way that I did with the other ones. So it would be what, people? That is my torso. Okay. So it's the same thing that I just did, except it's horizontal. Now, what we could do next, and what I recommend everybody to do, I'm too timid here today. I'm not letting it all hang out. Is first rib is a hole in that rib cage, okay, and then we can do collarbone. Collarbone. This would be the model shoulder. That would be the model shoulder. Now this would be rib cage. I don't want to do now sternum. Coming on down, navel's going to sink in because what pushes up? The rib cage pushes up. So right here, that's going to push up. Rib cage is going to push up because it's hard and rigid. But then your abs are going to droop to your pubic bone. Maybe pubic bone is there. But then your pelvis is going to be rigid and stick up. So there's, think of it as muscle and your abs and your midsection, your stomach, intestines, that sort of thing is going to be pulled down by gravity. Yeah, I know, gross. And then your rib cage is going to push up. Now over here, breast would just kind of be little gravity affecting that breast. And let's see, so leg, and perhaps I want this leg to go up. Okay, that's our pelvis. And now this would be the hip / butt, lat muscle. And so I think I want to move this pelvis right here, and gravity would be affecting this butt. So it would be a little bit more flat. And I think what I need to do is shuffle my piece of paper over to the left. Because I don't want to zoom out any more than this, because if I do, it's going to get way too... wow, from Italy. My mother was born in Italy from a little town called Sanicandro di Bari, 3 hours south of Bari, I do believe. Okay, yeah, let's move this over. So I have room for that leg that's going to go back and be foreshortened. Okay, so I would like to draw faster for everybody on YouTube today, but I am just, you see, I'm coming on here and I'm fighting it, people. It is what it is. You got to roll with it, right? So maybe head is just going to be a cylinder for now. And this head should be taller, bigger than the foot. So we're thinking of something like that. And now this leg going back, kneecap. I'm going to make this a little bit shorter. I should make that shorter. So it's pelvis, shorter leg, Matt, shorter. Now, and toe. So I'm going to move the paper again, people. I'm sorry about this. I don't really draw horizontal poses like this, so trying to not zoom out and make it too small where you can't appreciate it. I think that's good. We've got it all on the screen right now. Let me lift this up. Sorry. I'm fighting a man today. I'm fighting a man. Okay, cool. I don't know who the hell the man is, but I'm fighting him. All right, let me just click on this dialog window. Awesome. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's try to work this pose. So now this leg, I'm just going to suggest it, and this foot, you don't press down. Listen, with this foot, it needs to be tilted. Don't press down hard on that foot, because if you do, this is background. This is foreground. So you want your foreground to be darker and bigger and your background to be lighter and smaller to create the optical illusion of distance. Now this arm I'm just going to kind of do as like a gesture like that. So now let's go back. So shoulder, chest, breast rolls in, rib cage pushes up, and then it rolls in, ab rolls in. You don't want to be pressing down this hard. I'm pressing down hard because it's YouTube and I want you to be able to see what the heck I'm doing. So now breast, chest. Now look at me. When you look at me drawing, I'm not going like this. I'm not looking at reference. My eyes are looking down at the paper. So this is almost like drawing from my memory. I'm trying to remember a pose. There was a pose last week, and this was the vantage point in my drawing class at the School of Visual Arts. So our model did a reclining pose, and I'm attempting to remember what it looked like. Now it's kind of halfway out of my imagination and kind of halfway from my memory. So bicep, forearm, knuckles, wrist bone, hand. I'm just going to kind of go like that for now. And so yes, rib, wrapping around. And I'm not thrilled with how I am doing the hips. So hip, this would be I'm going to screw it up now. So that's your pelvis going across, but okay, I see. Pubic bone is going to come down. This goes to the inside of the knee and adductors. Aha. Gravity is going to droop that downward. And I'm going way too dark over here, but I don't have my touch today, and I'm just going to put some form lines over there. And so that is kind of the process around arch of the back. This model really has an arch to their back. And so you could do central line, you could do nose, or you could do shape of hair. And scribble this. And perhaps the shoulders are going to be in shadow. So I'm making the decision that the light's coming from the top and everything on the side would be a little bit darker. Now this foot, I want to fix the foot because it looks like shit. But I don't want to press down hard because then I'm going to ruin the optical illusion of foreground, midground, background. Let me see here. Oh, I don't have my touch today. All right, so toes, heel, ankle. Okay, so it might look something like that. And then this other leg, it's best sometimes if you just kind of leave it a little bit more unfinished. So that is how I would go about, Constantinus, welcome. That is how I would go about doing more of a reclining pose. Now, let me do one more because my class at drawingtutorialsonline.com starts in 1 hour. And so I don't want to bring this up to the very end there. Let me get a little swig of water. So we're doing, you ever drink this stuff? Mountain Valley. It's supposed to be really good for you. It has electrolytes in it and no microplastics. Can you tell I listen to like a lot of... So what do I watch on YouTube? I watch no artists at all. I'm teaching 3 days a week. Actually, I'm teaching 4 days a week. Actually, I'm teaching 5 days a week. So when I go on YouTube, I want to know nothing about art. I watch all other stuff like my hobbies, and I listen to a lot of health stuff. As you get old, you want to Definitely listen to health stuff. All right, one more. One more. Let's see. Sandy. Yeah, I had a student say that to me the other day. They're like, Matt, would you just cut the shit and draw? So I appreciate that. Okay. What do I want to use? I'm going to use this bigger pencil. I'm gonna mix it up. So I'm trying to think of a pose, trying to think of a pose, trying to think of a pose. I'm at a loss right now. So let me look at. I'm not looking at reference, people. I'm moving my Cintiq. When I tape down my piece of paper and I touch my Cintiq, I open up the Cintiq dialog button. I'm just going to draw. So top of the paper, bottom of the screen, I should say. I'll start this way. So I'm just going to focus on this little area. So oblique and butt and rib cage. I'm drawing a little bit bigger now. Navel. How do I want this? How do I want this? So this one I'm fighting a little bit, but let's see where it takes us. Let's see if we can't like have at it here. Pit of the neck, sternum, head. Okay, time to resharpen. Okay, so let's just do a little bit more here with this one. So rib, rib, rib. Serratus anterior, serratus anterior, serratus anterior. Bottom of the sternum, bottom of the breast, center of the breast, chest muscle, around the lat. I'm going to do a little shading over here. The other breast, let's be similar with the shading underneath. Rib, rib. The navel's too low. Navel should be here around pubic bone, and this is too low. Around cool. And I'm going to come back here one more time, flesh this out one more time. Good. And what about here now? Side of the femur, kneecap, quads. Okay, cool. Now let's move hamstring, knee. Let's move up top, deltoid, and deltoid, collarbone, This would be your acromion of the scapula, deltoid. Do these lines around the deltoid like that. It's fun to do that. Deltoid. I'm just mucking around here, people. Please. This is just messing around. I'm not doing anything perfect. It's just having fun, and I'm gonna lower this. I'm just gonna focus in on this torso area and the head. Let's do a little bit with the head here too. We just had a portrait class last week, so we can talk about that a little bit, mix it up. Okay, so again, I got to get rid of this dialog window. Good, and I'll lower this. And cool. It's all crooked now, but I think that's good. And I'm going to resharpen. Carbonated iced tea, nice. Yeah, nice. It's not a. I'm sorry, I haven't been looking at the chat. It's not a drafting table. It is a Cintiq, a Wacom, WACOM, a Wacom Cintiq, and yes, so it's big, and I tape my paper onto the Cintiq screen, and because I do a lot of screen cast videos when I critique student artwork on drawing tutorials online. Okay, so this person is ginormous. Okay, so deltoid, tricep, bicep. I'm going to cut it off here. And collarbone, shoulder, and breast. Oblique. Go around, go around, go around over there, and that's your pelvis, privates. This leg that's back over here, you could do it as tone. Think of the knee a little bit over here like a box to the kneecap. Cool. And back up top over here. So how do I want this? Let's see. Eye socket, forehead. Let me just get closer with the risk of you seeing my bald head there. Yeah, okay, there we go. And ear. Press down harder, have some fun. And hair shape. This needs to be taller. Everything needs to be taller, actually. What's a good book for the anatomical terms? All of them. So listen, anatomy. Let me talk about anatomy before I leave. Let me just finish this disaster, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I'll tell you how I think you should study anatomy momentarily. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put this whole face in shadow. Shadow, 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 shadow. And I'm going to be a lunatic and press down a little bit harder over here. Yeah, okay. So that's my fun, quick sketch. And sometimes you can just kind of scribble into background tone over here. And this pencil is awesome because you can get some really good tone quickly with it. And let's say, you wanted to end the drawing here. you could feather down with like a little bit of tone. That's your border. And you can put a little bit of tone over here lightly. You don't want the tone to distract. So this is a great way to practice drawing out of your imagination, starting at the torso. Again, these are rough. I get it. And the proportions are all screwy. I'm drawing out of my imagination. But again, I'm just showing you how I start. And so if I could draw here. So for me, what I recommend is that, yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Sandy. Let me just move this dialogue window here. Okay. Let's talk about anatomical landmarks, Paul. So, most important thing is number one, if you want to learn some anatomy of, start with the torso, surface anatomy, bones. Let's just talk about bones. So, your rib cage first is just an oval, first rib, sternum. You should learn that first. Secondly, I'm going to just treat the pelvis. To me is so complicated because it looks different if you just rotate it like an inch. It looks completely different. But think of your pelvis as a bowl shape, just like that. Okay. And then add a V to the pelvis. That's right above your privates. This is the front of your pelvis right there. So in between your pubic bone and your sternum, that's where your navel lives. Okay. So, and then the rest is kind of easy. It's collarbone, and I would start just like that, learning anatomy. So now we've got our center line. We have the front of our pelvis. We have the V shape, which is called inguinal ligament. We have the bottom of the rib cage, which is called the costal margin, and we have our collarbones. So we're not diving deep. We're not talking about every muscle. We're just talking about like the basics of what you could incorporate in your drawings out of your imagination. And I think, this works for a guy or a girl. A guy, let's say now I'm just going to add a flat chest and, just like that, a wider lats. And we'll go all superhero, huge deltoids. And so start that way. And that's a really, really, it's 22. I can't say the other part again. It's 22Q again. Mihrab. Awesome. So start that way. Torso and ribcage, pelvis, collarbones, and then the back view. Maybe we'll talk about that one next week. So let's see, what time is it? I think I'll squeeze in one more quick one, and then we'll call this live stream done. Now, listen, you could, if you like this video, it would be so helpful if you hit the like button. That'd be cool. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And also subscribe to the notifications because I'm going to be going live every week, either on Monday or Tuesday. The only way I'm going to do this is if I make it where it's spontaneous. Because if I start planning it out and say, oh, I'm going to go on YouTube every Monday at 10 a.m., I'm never going to do it. Like if it's spontaneous, And, I'm like, okay, I'll do it on Monday or Tuesday. I'll do it. So if you could subscribe to the notifications, I really do appreciate that. It's 22Q again. Um, then you'd get notified when I post these. And again, I'm not turning these live streams into promotion. If you want to find out more about me, you can click on the about on in my channel, and you can read what I have to offer. Okay, so let's see here. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm trying. I'm trying to think of a freaking pose. So it's helpful if you look at photos before you draw. And so look at the photo and you say, okay, I'm looking at the photo, I'm studying it, and now I'm going to draw that pose out of my imagination. I can't tell you how helpful that is. It really goes a very long way. That's how I learned how to draw out of my imagination. I would draw the model from class, and then on the train ride home, the Long Island Railroad back to Long Island from Manhattan, I would draw in my sketchbook. And and that is how I learned how to draw out of my imagination. Okay, one more drink for the road. I can't believe I'm starting a live class in 45 minutes. Okay. You got it, Paul. Okie dokie. What am I doing? What am I doing here? I'm trying to think of a pose. I'm just gonna go. Okay, so let's do a back view. I'm gonna not be such a monster on it this time. So the letter C, side of the rib cage. Let me explain more. The letter C, side of the rib cage. The opposite letter C all the way down to the foot. Let me zoom out. Yep, cool. The rib cage go across the mid lower back all the way here to the foot. Now, I really should next time maybe have some reference that I can show you how I would draw from the reference. Just YouTube, I don't know how they deal with the nudity. So I'm probably drawing the same pose again. And let me just focus on this back. This should roll right into the center of the butt. I'm going to kick out the hip. And now, at this point in the game, I'm going to cling on to some anatomy. So this will give me confidence. So sacrum, coccyx, sacrum, butt. Okay. Now, spine. And on the side of the spine are two towers of muscle. So I'm going to put that right there. Lat muscle coming down, lat muscle coming down. Cool. And 7 cervical vertebrae again. And where are we now? So chest, serratus anterior, serratus anterior, serratus anterior, rib. Good. And how am I doing this? It's very similar to the first or third pose, actually. So I'm going to have this leg kick out. Is that on screen? Yeah. Okay, cool. Big back. Elbow. And let's do a little anatomy. So, whatchamacallit? Scapula, 7 cervical, spine, scapula, deltoid attaches to that scapula 1/3 of the way in, elbow, elbow, and head. Now, this heel needs to be under that head, or else this person's going to fall over, and that really wouldn't be good. So I'm going to move the butt over, and I'm going to come on down this way. Let's move this leg over. Gastrocnemius, Achilles tendon, heel, perspective with the foot. So kind of, I could always move the head over to the right. So now one foot, it's a semi-action pose. In a semi-action pose, the body's moving. It doesn't need to be perfect, okay? So cool. And neck, shoulder, neck, shoulder, trapezius, I should say, not shoulder. One and the same, but it's better if you're a little bit more specific. Back of the pelvis. Okay, and I think I'm just about done here. I could keep going with it. I'll just work the torso a little bit. Okay. So some muscles on the back. Well, things you need to... So this is for Paul. When I first subbed to this channel, I was in high school and you still had a full head of hair. Helped me a lot over the years. Yeah, no shit. I just had another birthday. Getting old sucks. Don't get old. Stay young. And take care of your body. Eat good. Eating good is different for everybody, but eat good. Don't eat processed crap. And that's my little lecture of the day. So my lecture to my young students, I'm like, please, the most important thing that you could do is go to sleep at the same time every night. Now, if that's 1 a.m. in the morning, well, go to bed every single night at 1 a.m. Don't go to sleep a different time because you will muck with your circadian rhythm, and that will not be good. Okay. And that's how you're, yeah. Okay, shut up, Matt. Talk about the drawing. All right. And yeah, okay. And yes. I'm not a fan of outlining both sides, especially on these short style drawings. Cool. I'm going to leave it there, people. I got to go. I've got another class coming up. So shameless little plug. So I have teach at the School of Visual Arts perspective backgrounds classes for animators. And I teach foundation drawing for animators, and I teach advanced life drawing for animators. So yeah, and so how can you learn from me? Well, you can learn from me here for free on YouTube. If you want to take it a step up, you can check out drawingtutorialsonline.com. Every Monday, I do member critiques, where you upload a drawing a week with photo reference, and I kind of draw on top of it for you. And I give you feedback, and I answer your questions. And then every single Tuesday, I do a Zoom class. And we do a fall semester, a spring semester, and a summer semester, just like the School of Visual Arts. The semesters are about 15 weeks. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. And thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. And yeah, hey, David. Yeah, I got you. I kind of feel ashamed. No, there's nothing to feel ashamed. It's just the tide goes in and the tide goes out. So if you're back into it, just get back into it and look forward. Don't look in the past. Eating healthy, folks. I didn't listen. Yeah. Yep. Gotcha. Devastator. Nice. I always wanted to go to New York City because of you, and I can't believe I found this channel. 215. Wow, that's cool. I wonder, is it really possible making a living doing art? Yes, it is. I'm living proof. I painted book covers for 18 years. Freelance illustrator from 1990 to 2008 2009, and then I stopped illustrating books because I was sick and tired of meeting deadlines. It was destroying my body. So look at me. I am a living proof that you can earn a living, but that's a whole story for another day. I teach a class on the specifics of earning a living, doing what you want to do as an artist, and now I try to help the animation students with a game plan for when they graduate. What should they be doing with their days? What should they be doing with their months? And what should they be doing with their years? And it's you can most definitely earn a living, but you've got to be specific, and you need to know what field you want to go into. Okay. Yes, Dave. Yes, David. Online classes, drawing-tutorials-online.com. Just click on the link in the show more underneath my videos, and you'll see links to everything that I have. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next Monday. I think it's going to be Monday because I have somebody coming over my house, an inspector. And, you know, it took like a month to get an appointment with this dude. So I can't cancel. Then I'd have to wait like another month. So he's coming on Tuesday. He's from the town. God knows what time they're going to show up. So, yeah. All right. See you next Monday.